Welcome to the Daycare Resources 2021 Calendar and Business Guide. Daycare Resources has been a sponsor of the USDA Child and Adult Care Food Program since 1984. Join us for a journey to the Wild Wild West. Over the years, the importance of nutrition hasn't changed. Nutrition is just as important now as it was back when our country was founded. The pioneers that made the journey westward lived off the land, eating foods that grew from the ground, came from the trees, and were chock full of good nutrition. In the 2021 calendar, we will be taking a look at life as a pioneer. Hopefully, along the way, you can find some modern games, recipes, and fun facts to share with your kids. Specifically, I will be sharing with you some nutrition facts, clues to spotting nutritious food labels, Wild West themed games to help stay active, and some delicious recipes to keep your cowboys and cowgirls full and focused. With each month in the calendar, a recipe will be provided. The recipes will fit the theme of the month, have a short list of ingredients, be quick and easy to prepare, and include a CACFP credit section. January's topic is milk on the move. In order to have a steady supply of nutritious milk, pioneers would often bring their cows with them on the travel westward. Did you know that one cow can provide up to 8 gallons of milk per day? Since kids need 2 to 3 cups of milk per day, that means one cow can produce enough milk for up to 64 kids a day. To calculate how much milk you need for your children, multiply the number of children you serve in each age group times the amount needed for that age group. This will give you the cups you need. Then, since there are 16 cups in 1 gallon, divide by 16 to know how many gallons you need. In the example on screen, there are 10 kids ages 3 to 5. We find the age group on the chart and the amount of milk per meal required. We then multiply 10 kids times 3/4 a cup, or 0.75, to get our total of 7.5 cups. Then, since we know 1 gallon has 16 cups, we divide our total cups by 16 to get the total amount of gallons, which in this example equals out to 0.47 gallons, or about a half a gallon per meal. This month's recipe of ranch mushrooms is a simple and delicious recipe with very few ingredients that credits as a 1/4 cup vegetable for every 1/4 cup served. For this month's game, Cattle Corral, you can get your cowboys and cowgirls herding cattle to see who can round up the most in just 5 minutes. February's theme is Dough on the Go. When traveling across the U.S., voyagers would often bring a yeast starter with them. They would add flour, sugar, and water to feed the yeast, and then use it to make sourdough bread on the trip. They would also bring foods such as dried beans, which cook fast after being soaked, as well as dried meats and fruits, which last a lot longer and can easily be cooked to rehydrate. This month's recipe is Endless Flapjacks. These are pancakes that even the pioneers would have loved. Each cut square credits for 1/2 ounce grain equivalent. If you use whole wheat pancake mix, you can count this as your whole grain for the day. If you do, make sure to mark whole grain on your menu. Another fun game to try is this month's tumbleweed race. The person who can gather up the most tumbleweeds and safely bring them back to their ranch wins. The topic of March is canned foods. Canned foods have been around for just over 2 centuries. Interestingly, though, the can opener was not invented until 60 years after the can itself. In fact, pioneers had to open cans with a hammer and chisel. Nowadays, though, canned foods are convenient, safe, and nutritious. It has been found that individuals who eat canned foods regularly have higher intakes of 18 essential nutrients, such as potassium. Potassium helps send messages through your nervous system, which causes your heart to beat and your muscles to move, pumping blood to your brain, organs, and muscles. Potassium also helps with keeping your blood pressure in a healthy range. High amounts of potassium can be found in canned foods such as canned beans, tomatoes, and tomato sauces. It is important when choosing canned vegetables to opt for low sodium options. In addition to picking those specific canned goods, you should also rinse the vegetables to reduce the amount of sodium by up to 41%. And for fruits, choose those canned in fruit juice. The Gallopin green beans for this month is fast, easy, and credits for a quarter cup vegetable with a quarter cup serving. Try out our Western variation of red light, green light called Villains vs. Heroes. April's topic is one pot wonders. Travelers of the early frontier would cook in large cast iron pots called Dutch ovens. These Dutch ovens were sturdy, unbreakable, and allowed them to make large batches of food with limited dishes and time spent in the kitchen. In addition to being great for cooking large batches, cast iron cookware can also add extra iron to your meals to help reduce iron deficiency anemia. Anemia affects about 15% of 1-year-olds and can cause problems with learning and concentration. Other ways to incorporate iron in the diet include consuming meats, eggs, and cooked dry beans. The cheeseburger mac recipe for this month is a one-pot meal that is hearty and filling and credits as 1.5 ounces of meat and 1 ounce of grain per 3/4 cup serving. Really get their imaginations going this month with Round Them Up. Throw some hula hoop lassos together and have them round up some livestock. May's topic is food trucks on the frontier. Long before today's modern food trucks, a man named Charles Goodnight created the first mobile kitchens called chuck wagons in 1855. The chuck wagons had pantries, boxes, shelves, drawers, as well as a fold-out table for food preparation. These wagons helped feed travelers and workers to keep them focused, energized, and working hard. It is now known that kids who eat breakfast are more likely to get the nutrients they need. Nutrients like fiber, calcium, iron, and vitamin C. Kids who eat breakfast are also more likely to eat less fat, cholesterol, and sodium. Typical breakfasts on these chuck wagons consisted of beans, dried meats, and bread or biscuits. The Southwest soup is another one-pot meal that credits for both 1.5 ounces of meat and a half a cup of vegetable in every cup serving. Keep in mind that a meat or meat alternative can be served instead of grain up to 3 times per week at breakfast. This month, try packing a picnic. Picnics are an easy and fun way to get your kids outside and active. Before you leave the building, though, let DCR know that you will be away during mealtime. The theme of June is to blaze your own trail. One of the commonly used trails settlers would take across the U.S. was the Oregon Trail. The Oregon Trail was about 2,000 miles long and connected Independence, Missouri to Oregon City, Oregon. The trail took 5 to 6 months to complete at an average pace of 5 to 10 miles per day. While that would be a long trip by today's standards, you can try to simulate the journey west with the Walk Across Illinois Challenge. With an east to west length of about 210 miles, Illinois would take quite a while to cross, but if you walk 2.5 miles a day, or about 5,000 steps, within 90 days, you'll have done it. The Just Peachy salad recipe for this month credits for a half a cup of fruit for each portion, and all you have to do is just mix it and refrigerate. The Picture Your Path activity for this month encourages you to take some extra steps with your kids. You can use tools like pedometers and phone apps to help track how many steps your kids are taking. Apps like Walker, Zombies Run, and Charity Miles help add a fun and encouraging aspect to walking. This is also a good opportunity to work in math skills. Have them think about how many steps it would take to go 5, 10, 15, or more miles. The theme of July is to go nuts for nutrients. Nuts were a great source of protein and fats travelers could gather on the frontier. While most nuts are high in fats, it's important to know that these are mostly healthy fats. In fact, these healthy fats can help lower cholesterol and keep your heart healthy. Please note that kids with nut allergies must follow his or her doctor's advice to prevent life-threatening allergic reactions and avoid coming into contact with nuts. While it is important for kids with allergies to avoid nuts, others should not. Avoiding foods may actually cause allergies. In the LEAP study, it was found that giving peanut products to 4 to 11-month-old babies decreased allergies at age 5 by 81%. Parents should consult their doctors on when to start certain foods, especially if allergies are common in the family. If given the okay by both the doctor and the parents, it is okay to mix a small amount of peanut butter into the baby food. Portable snacks are always fun, and this month's recipe of On the Trail Mix is a great way to add some dried fruits, nuts, and grains to the diet. This trail mix credits as a half cup fruit and a half ounce meat or meat alternative per half cup serving. This month, you can cool your kids off with a game to water the horses. The theme for August is Beggin' for Beans. On days where cowboys and cowgirls would round up and herd livestock, they needed protein-rich meals to keep them going. Cooked dried beans can count as a meat alternative or a vegetable, but not both, and have nutrients such as fiber, folate, magnesium, potassium, zinc, and they contain complex carbohydrates which help keep blood sugar steady. Beans and grains are also a great combination to try, and they will provide all 9 essential amino acids your body needs to build new proteins. The Buckaroo Beans dish for this month is sweet, savory, and sure to satisfy. It credits as 1.5 ounces of meat alternative for every 2/3 cup served. Another game that's sure to get them thinking is Animal Stampede. They will use their imagination to become all sorts of animals. Roping in the right information is the topic for September. Starting in 1860, the Pony Express was used to deliver mail across 1,966 miles the fastest way possible at the time, on horseback. 18 months later, the transcontinental telegraph was completed. Nowadays, with so much information available so quickly, it makes coming across reliable websites hard. Here's a list of a few you can use: ChooseMyPlate.org, Nutrition.gov, theICN.org, AAP.org, FoodSafety.gov, and EatRight.org. One portion of the cinnamon apples recipe for this month credits as a 1/4 cup of fruit. These apples complement a variety of dishes, such as whole wheat pancakes or biscuits. Work on your kids' aim and reaction time with some Western-style target practice this month. Feel free to use soft toys or even water guns for those hotter days. October's topic is healthy heroes. Looking at labels is important, and knowing what to look for is even more important. Things like imitation cheeses should be avoided, as well as fruit and or vegetable straws, melts, and chips. And meats with additives like food starch and protein concentrate. You should opt for real cheeses, real fruits and vegetables, and meats that only have meat and seasoning on the ingredients. The food program requires providers to buy and serve good quality foods that have nutrition kids need. Let's compare imitation cheese to natural cheese. Imitation cheese is mostly made of oil and has ingredients that are not allowed in natural or real cheeses. For instance, there may be lots of starches added, like maltodextrin and modified food starch. The natural cheese is made of milk and just a few ingredients, like natural cultures and enzymes that help turn the milk into cheese. Have your kids try out this tasty twist on nachos. The tachos recipe for this month credits for 2 ounces of meat and 1/2 cup of vegetable per portion. Then hide some gold-painted rocks and let the kids race to stake their claim. This month's game is a good chance to talk about size and weight to see who really collects the most gold. Fruits on the Frontier is the theme for November. Settlers of the U.S. would have to pack around 300 pounds of food for the 4 to 6 months of travel. Along the way, they could pick some of the native berries found in the area, such as grapes, blueberries, and cranberries. These berries are high in polyphenols, which can help boost the immune system, prevent a variety of diseases, improve brain power, and even help prevent Alzheimer's. This month's recipe of cranberry sauce credits for a 1/4 cup fruit for every 1/3 cup served. You can use this sweet sauce to squeeze some extra fruit into the day. Your kids can learn some of the Pioneer essentials with the Pack Your Wagon game. The topic for December is the White Bread Bandits. White bread stays fresh a long time, and that's why it's been used for centuries. Until 1873, when a machine was invented that could easily grind the grains. It was a process done by hand with rocks. When the grains are ground, the outer layers are removed, those layers being both the bran and the germ. Removal of the bran and germ also removes many vitamins and minerals. To avoid this, choose 100% whole grain options whenever possible. One whole grain rich item is required each day. When you're not serving whole grains, choose enriched items that have some vitamins and minerals added to help avoid deficiencies. Some things to keep in mind when purchasing grain-based items are: watch out for processed grains that use words like natural and organic to trick you. Watch out for sweet treats that have so much fat and sugar you would have to eat twice as much to get your grains in. And watch out for brown-colored processed wheats pretending to be whole grain. This month's cornbread recipe brings a Frontier staple right to your kids and will credit for 1 ounce of grain per each serving. Challenge your kids' speed and coordination with the Giddy Up race. Have them saddle up and ride through a course of your making. Eggs are the topic for January. Eggs are such a good source of protein that settlers would actually bring mobile chicken coops with them on their long trips for the eggs. Chickens will eat almost anything and provide a continuous supply of protein. Eggs are a lot better for us than we once thought. In fact, studies have shown that people who eat 1 egg a day have healthier hearts and have less strokes. The yolk of eggs has lutein and zeaxanthin for eyesight and reducing inflammation, vitamin D for immune system and bones, phospholipids to raise your HDL, the good cholesterol, and choline for a healthy brain and nervous system. The Eggcellent Burrito recipe is a delicious way to start the day and will credit as a 3-ounce meat or meat alternative, 1 ounce grain, and a 1/4 cup of vegetable. Keep your kids active with the Henhouse Run. Practice patience to not drop the eggs. Even though we aren't on the frontier herding cattle or traveling by foot from coast to coast, we still need to keep ourselves and our kids outside and active. It is also important to properly fuel that activity with energy-dense foods like beans, dried fruits, low-sodium canned foods, and whole grains. Always remember to try new things and be creative. We hope you enjoyed our journey through the Wild Wild West. If you have questions, feel free to contact Daycare Resources at info@dcrhome.org or call us at 309-925-2274. If you need training hours, mosey on over to our website at www.daycareresources.org to take a test.